Market update time, my favorite video that we do in a month. Hello, everybody. My name is Roxanne Govari with Pemberley Realty here in San Diego, California, along with my partner, Santiago Guerin.
So everyone, good morning. Like you said, best video of the month, right? Ready to know what's out there, what everyone's looking at, how things are looking. So let's get right into it.
Yeah, exactly. And the real estate market is, we all know that the real estate market right now is in a recession.
Hmm.
And that subject is always very, very fascinating because we all want to know when that pendulum changes or shifts, and
Yeah,
we start seeing some good news coming out of the real estate market.
yeah,
So let's see if there are some good news that we can share with our audience, or at least let's stay informed and see how things are looking. So let's look at numbers and see what we see. Okay, and that being the case, let me see if we can take a look at what we've got going on. So I need to adjust my screen a little bit so that I can show exactly what we've got. So we are usually looking at four zip codes, and this is actually not the one that I want to start with. So let's see. Want to start with 92116 because 92116 is where our main office is located,
hmm
and being that our main office is in 92116. That's the stat that we want to start with. And so go ahead, Santi, if you want to go ahead and interpret the data and share with our audience what we see on this chart.
yeah. I mean, and then also just kind of going off of what you said. This is March information. Just we get it in April. What happened last month? Just FYI to everyone. But yeah, I mean, if we look here at March's numbers, new listings, 7 new listings compared to 23 last year. Pending sales stayed the same. Um, Closed sales went down, and then the median sales price dropped a whole lot. From 1.5 basically to almost 1.2. Um, Days on the market, 25, which, which is pretty surprising. And then inventory of homes, 26. And so that went down as well. And then month of supply of inventory, 2.5. So pretty interesting
This is
numbers.
very interesting, isn't it? Days on market until sale went down, and I think we actually did see that. The market looks to be feels like it's more robust and more active than it was
Hmm.
last year about this time. I
Hmm.
definitely see that in the overall behavior of the market, but it's interesting that we see a sharp decline,
Yeah.
at least for the month of March. That may not reflect in the entirety of the market, but what do you think? Do we actually feel like prices are coming down?
I think prices are staying, pretty much the same.
Hmm.
I think there hasn't really been, a big, change in price, going upwards. I think it stayed the same. Homes are just kind of, I think sellers have been holding on to, wanting a little higher price, hence why we see a little bit, longer days on the market. But I
Yeah.
think once those like price reductions to like, what the market is actually, asking for, we get quicker sales. And I mean, like how we see here, 25 days on the market, which I think last month, so for February's, I think the days on the market were, a lot longer.
Yeah, yeah. And the other part that's very interesting is that we see an actual uptick in
Mhm.
condo market, which is surprising given that that we've seen a lot of difficulty on the sale of condos with a lot of special assessments, with a lot of mandatory repairs, with a lot um, uh, of HOA fees going up to replenish the reserves, a lot of difficulty in obtaining insurance for the master plan within the condo community. So there's a lot of troubles out there for condo communities. And that being the case, it's actually surprising to see that prices of condos have gone up. Um, but at the same time, I think it's a reflection of what we see of affordability.
Mhm.
If your median sales price of a single family home is at 1.5 and your condo is at 600,000, I
Yeah,
mean that's a no-brainer. Of course,
yeah,
you're going to go for a condo because it's almost one third of the price.
exactly. Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. I mean, and then you can kind of see on the graph here how, numbers have, keep going up for the condos and the, townhouses. So,
Yeah, and then the other thing that I think is very interesting to see is, we're in 92116, which consists of Kensington, Normal Heights, and of course University Heights, where our office is located, and we are within the metro area of San Diego, where um, you know. Uh, I want to argue and say that is the most desirable part of the city,
mhm.
if you want to be centrally located and close to everything. And that being the case, there's a lot of people that want to be in that area, located or live in that area. And then affordability becomes even a bigger issue if you want to be living in Metro San Diego. And the condo prices in our zip code of 92116 are actually lower than the median price of condos and townhomes within the entire county.
Yeah, that's kind of
So,
interesting.
so
Yeah.
okay, excellent. So let's move on to 92103, which is our neighboring zip code, and see how things are looking there. So go ahead, and if you want to give your idea on how you interpret this chart, and then we'll talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, here also new listings went up a little bit. So from 22 last year to 25. Pending sales also went up, you know, five more than last year. Closed sales stayed around the same, just one extra one. Median sales price went down 13%, which is pretty interesting there. Days on the market until sale 21 compared to 70. I don't know if I'm reading that
Wow,
right. Yeah. Yeah. So
wow.
21 days that is. And then inventory of homes for sale 32, month supply of inventory 2.6. So that kind of stayed around the same. But yeah, the surprising number here is from 70 days on the market to 21.
What do you think attributes to that? I have my ideas, but want to see what you think about that.
I maybe think that maybe some sellers are, realizing, you know, that they kind of have to accommodate their price, and I think they're listing at the right price and selling the home, rather than maybe last year they were a little bit more stuck up on how much they wanted, when really they and having homes sit. So that's kind
You
of
know,
my 2 cents.
that is that you're right that maybe sellers are getting more realistic about the market, and I think it may also have to do with interest rates.
Hmm.
I think last year, the basically the word of the day was uh,
Hmm.
interest rates are going to come down. Let's wait. Let's see what happens if interest rates come down. How much more we can get. And I think this year we pretty much have settled on the fact that interest rates. It is what it is with interest rates. They're not going to change drastically, and whoever wants to do whatever, they need to basically get on with it and get on with their lifestyle rather than trying to time the market or um, affect the market the way that they want, because clearly um, people have gotten tired of waiting, and they're
Yeah.
doing what they need to do, and those show up in the numbers.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, so this is the metro area, which as numbers show, 92103 is a more affluent and higher priced zip code than our 92116. But let's move on to our second office location of Del Mar, and let's see what the numbers look there. You want to go ahead and interpret what's happening in Del Mar?
Yeah. I mean, here it's always a little bit more, going, changing, going up and down because of the big changes in price and not that many, listings. But yeah, I mean, new listings 16 compared to 20 last year. Pending sales also went down almost 50%. Closed sales did go up though, and then the median sales price went up 5% to almost $4 million. And then days on the market, here we do see that the days on the market went up, almost 100%. So, and then inventory of homes for sale, 35, and then month supply of inventory, 4.4. So there's a lot more inventory, but homes are sitting a lot longer in the Del Mar market.
It's interesting for me to see this because um, we have to go back and see when we started seeing these appreciations in Del Mar. But I want to say we probably have started looking at these numbers maybe 2-3 years ago in Del Mar, and closely following the median sales price.
Mm-hmm.
And since we have been doing that, I do remember the median sales price of a home in Del Mar was at 3 million, and now median sales price of a home in Del Mar is at 3.7. And that is interesting to observe, because it pretty much tells you that things are steadily going up, at least in the single family market. Not the same is going on in the condo market. If you look at it,
Yeah.
condos are sharply down.
Yeah. Almost 2 million, yeah, to 1.26. So
Right. But even then you can see almost the ratio is almost the same between the price of a condo, where in 92116, see the ratio of the condo, 620,000 to 1.5 million. So you could almost see 3 to 1 is the ratio. And then you move over to Del Mar, and the ratio is almost the same, 1.2 to 3.7. The ratio is like 3 to 1
yeah. Mm-hmm. That's
between
very
the.
good. Yeah.
Okay, and then let's compare that to Carmel Valley, which is the immediate eastward zip code next to Del Mar. So go ahead and see what
Yeah.
your opinion is on this one.
Yeah, I mean, here you can see that new listings went down to 22. Pending sales went up. Closed sales went down here. And then the median sales price did go down. And then as well, in the year to date, it kind of just stayed the same, it looks like, compared to last year. And then days on the market, 13, which is pretty surprising there too. and then inventory of homes 28, and month supply of inventory 1.7. So looks like prices have kind of stayed flat in Carmel Valley,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean days on the market until sell 13 days. That's pretty impressive.
That is pretty impressive. I totally agree.
Hmm.
And the other thing that's very interesting is how the condo market in Carmel Valley is actually behaving the exact opposite
Yeah,
of the condo market in Del Mar, whereas Del Mar condo market is down by 40%, and Carmel Valley's condo market is actually up by 23.
hmm yeah,
But if you look at it in Carmel Valley, we went from 915,000 to million one, whereas in Del Mar we went from 2.1 to 1.2.
yeah,
So kind of you can argue that they kind of evened out.
yeah, yeah,
So interesting stuff.
yeah.
Okay, now let's look at our actual market and see what we see in the overall market, because what's interesting is
It's like
what's the most fun, right?
yeah,
The most fun is to see what actually is going down in those areas. So let's
exactly.
compare 92116, 92116, um, and Del Mar 92014. Okay, and let's also look at what's pending, what's coming soon, and what's sold. And let's go back to March 1st and see what we see there. Okay, so we are looking at 175 listings, and let's see, we can start with Del Mar. And I'm going to look at the ones that are newer to the market, because if they've been older, we have seen them. So this one looks newer. So let's take a look. And I don't know, for whatever reason, I feel like we've seen this
Yeah,
also.
I think they might have relisted.
May have relisted. One bedroom, one bath, 800 square feet for 650,000. Okay, but I'm going to move on to the next one that looks newer. Let's look at this one because it's 1 day on the market. 3 bedrooms, two bath, 1,045 square feet for 825,000. So let's see what we get here. And this complex, we're pretty familiar with this complex. It seems like it has good amount of uh, turnover rate here. And this one might be a rental
Yeah.
because definitely looks like they have a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah.
But this condo complex is in a great location, so you can't go wrong with that. It does have a pool. It has the proximity to the ocean. There is the proximity to the ocean. It's on the west side of 5, so definitely great location. And 3 bedrooms, two bath, 1,045 square feet for 825,000. And let's see what is actually sold. So that I can argue was the cheapest one.
Hmm.
And let's see what's the most expensive one that's up for sale that we have not seen. So actually, I think this one, Knob Avenue, we have not seen this one. 5 bedrooms, five baths, about 5441 square feet. And it's for 12,500,000. So brand new listing. I don't think we have seen this before, and pretty private from the street. and a nice pool that almost takes up the whole side of the house, looks like.
Yeah.
And pretty nice modern design. And the way that this pool is located is very, very interesting. And I like the open, um, it looks like cantina doors opening up to the outside. You definitely have that open indoor outdoor living style, nice living room area, and very sleek, very modern, very clean. Designs everywhere. I like this. This is
Yeah.
by far my favorite. I don't know about you, but by far is my favorite. And let's see the kitchen. I like this outdoor living also, very nice. This is very interesting. I think
Yeah.
this might be a rooftop deck,
Yeah.
right?
It does look like it.
It does look like a rooftop deck. I mean, it's a beautiful home, don't get me wrong, but I feel like it's a little compact, at least for my taste.
Mm.
Um, so interesting compound, and it's definitely on the right side of the street,
Yeah.
facing water. Uh,
Hmm.
so there we have it. Okay, let's go and see what we see in 92116. So 92116 is the cheapest one is an actual studio for $345,000, and this is very interesting. Um, let's see what it looks like. I definitely like this. Very clean looking
Yeah.
studio, and you can't beat the price of $345,000 or the HOA fee of 227. That's very reasonable,
Yeah.
and
Compared to everything.
compared to everything, exactly. And then on the more expensive side of things, let's see if I can find one that is newer to the market. Let's take a look at this one, 38th Street, for 2.2 million. Um, so this looks like it's a fourplex, and it looks like there is 4 units, each one 2 bedrooms, 1 bath. Yeah,
Yeah.
that looks like and it's interesting that it's listed under a single family home
Yeah.
complex, but it's definitely a 4 unit, and looks like they're all remodeled. They have washer and dryer inside, so so definitely an interesting property. Nice compound for those investors that are looking for something that brings a lot of value, and it's listed at 2.2 million. And then let's go and see what we see in terms of sold within the last 30 days. So let's take a look at some of the more prominent ones. What do you think?
Let's go. Let's do it.
All right. So if I'm looking at the most prominent would be this one, and 11 days on the market before it was sold,
Yeah.
and 5 bedrooms, 6 bath, 5685 square feet. And interestingly enough, this is very similar to the one that we just looked at
Yeah.
for 12 million, right?
Mhm.
And I would say this is more my style in terms of what I would prefer. And of course,
Mhm.
the proximity to the water,
It's
you
a lot
definitely
closer.
go wrong with that. What do you
Mhm.
think of those colors?
Very interesting. It's got a, yeah, I mean, you're right there by the water, so yeah,
Yeah,
it's
Yeah, I mean, that's the ultimate desirability to be walking distance to the water. So this is definitely a very nice catch, and no
Mhm.
wonder it sold in 11 days.
Yeah.
And then let's see what we see in terms of sales um, in 92116. So it looks like this might be the highest sale. Um, 3 bedrooms, 2 bath, 2,083 square feet for 2.155. And let's see what this one look like. Also a very nice home on the canyon with views. I also like the style of this home. Looks very nice, right?
Hmm.
Okay, and
Yeah.
Brayburn
10
is
days on the market too.
10 days on the market. Brayburn is also part of Kensington, so
Mhm.
interesting location and also interesting property. So there you have it. Uh, so let's thank our audience for joining us and looking at what has happened in 92116 and 92014, which is the zip codes that we operate under. And that does not mean that we don't sell in the rest of the county. Of course, well, with the team that we have, we sell all over the county and would love to earn your business. So, on that note, let me go ahead and share our information. There is my phone number if you want to get in touch with me. There is Santiago's phone number if you want to get in touch with him. Um, and, um, and let's see, we also like to hang out on Facebook or on Instagram. We would appreciate a follow to any of our handles. And you can also check us out on the web at pemberleyrealty.com. And of course, anywhere in the U.S., we're happy to help you, and would love to have the opportunity to be your go-to realtors for advice, for service, and anything in between. And if you were watching us on YouTube, what do you want them to do?
Hit like and then subscribe so that you guys can see all our upcoming videos.
Excellent. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us, and make it a great day.
Bye, everyone.